This episode of the Quantum Space Innovating Trust podcast is brought to you in association with VBoo Systems, pioneers in software protection and licensing technologies. Together, we've produced Sovereign by Design, a new white paper exploring how Europe can secure its digital future in the post-quantum era. Download it now at thequantumspace.org and visit vboo.com to learn more about their trusted innovation in cybersecurity.
Welcome to the Quantum Space, Innovating Trust. In this episode, we take a deep dive into the rising storm that's reshaping the foundations of digital finance, the quantum threat to blockchain. For years, crypto promised unbreakable mathematics, immutable ledgers, decentralized trust, and the comforting belief that physics would stay politely in its lane. But that belief is cracking. Algorithms like Shor's and Grover's have shown us that what was once computationally impossible may soon be routine, and that's turning proof of work into proof of worry. We'll explore how quantum computing could undermine today's cryptographic signatures, expose long-term vulnerabilities through harvest now, decrypt later attacks, and even create new forms of quantum arbitrage that threaten market fairness. Drawing on insights from the Crypto Under Quantum Siege editorial series, we'll also look at Europe's regulatory response and how hardware innovators are anchoring tomorrow's resilience in silicon. Because in the quantum era, trust isn't guaranteed by code alone. It's engineered, audited, and earned. This is episode 13, Crypto Under Quantum Siege.
For, over a decade now, we've all operated on this one big assumption with blockchain, that the math is solid, the ledger is safe, it's immutable, as long as our cryptography stays ahead of our computers.
Yeah, and that's been a pretty safe bet. But that whole era of comfortable certainty, it's ending. Quantum computing is, well, it's quietly turning that assumption on its head.
And this isn't some philosophical debate, right? This is just physics.
Exactly, it's physics. We're talking about algorithms that are specifically designed to break the very encryption that secures, every single transaction. The only saving grace is that we're not there yet. You need millions of stable, error-corrected qubits for the real danger to materialize.
Okay, so that million qubit number, that's the countdown clock. And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to cut through the hype looking at research you shared with us across 5 really critical areas.
That's right. Mining, wallets, consensus, data protection, and of course, regulation.
We're giving you the shortcut to understanding this quantum migration and why, honestly, it's already happening.
It really is.
So, okay, let's unpack the mechanics here. Blockchains are built on this idea of asymmetry. It's incredibly hard to produce a block, all that proof of work, but it's super easy to check that it's valid.
And that's what keeps everyone honest.
Yeah.
Well, quantum computing has these algorithms that just, they collapse that asymmetry completely.
So what are these tools? What are we actually talking about?
There are 2 main ones you need to know. First is Shor's algorithm, which has actually been around since 1994. It's just exponentially faster at factoring large numbers.
Which is the basis of our current encryption.
It's the basis of elliptic curve cryptography, ECC, and RSA. So Shor's is basically a cryptographic sledgehammer. It goes right after the signatures that verify transactions.
So Shor's is the thief. It's the key breaker that steals the funds. What about the other side, the actual mining?
That's where Grover's algorithm comes in. From 1996, gives you a quadratic speed up for any kind of brute force search.
Which is exactly what mining is.
It's exactly what proof of work is. You can find that correct nonce way, way faster. So you're right. Shor's is about theft. Grover's is about controlling the consensus itself.
And while these giant machines don't exist yet, we're getting some pretty specific estimates on the timeline, aren't we?
We are. IBM researchers back in 2023 estimated that a system with just 1 to 2 million logical qubits could break a standard 256-bit ECC key in a matter of hours.
Hours.
They don't pull any punches in the paper. They call it mathematical theft. It puts a very real, very technical deadline on all of this.
Yeah, that's a terrifying thought. So let's look at the targets, mining and consensus. How does Grover's algorithm really mess with something as huge as Bitcoin's network?
It gives a quantum miner this insane performance gain. We're talking something like a 10,000-fold increase over the best ASICs we have today.
But wait, if the difficulty adjusts to that new speed, why is a temporary boost such a big deal? Isn't the network built to handle that?
That's the key question. It's a huge deal because of what that temporary monopoly allows. It's centralization. For that critical window, the attacker has near total control.
It's no longer one CPU, one vote.
No, it's one qubit cluster, total control. And in that time, they can reorder the blockchain, they can censor transactions, whatever they want. Even if it's temporary, it shatters the trust in the entire system.
Okay, so if mining is threatened by centralization, the threat to our actual money is it's in our wallets. Why are they considered the soft underbelly here?
Because the private key is everything. It's the one mathematical link between you and your assets on the chain, and that key is the exact thing Shor's algorithm is built to break.
And it affects every kind of wallet, I assume.
Every single one. Your cold wallets, the offline hardware ones, they're going to need really complex firmware updates. Hot wallets, the ones always online, they need a total re-engineering of their authentication.
What about the big guys? Institutional custody, the people managing billions.
For them, it is a massive, unavoidable compliance event. We saw one study that predicted they're facing a 2 to 3 year rotation timeline as soon as these post-quantum standards become part of the regulations. They have no choice but to move.
Okay, there's a concept here that really frames the danger, and it's honestly a bit creepy. Harvest now, decrypt later, HNDL.
It is creepy because it's so passive. An attacker just vacuums up all this encrypted data today, knowing that in 5–10 years, a quantum computer will crack it open like it was nothing.
And blockchains are the perfect target for this.
A perfect target. The data is all public, it's designed to be there forever, and the encryption is static. They're basically public time capsules of encrypted secrets, just waiting to be opened.
And there was a pretty shocking statistic in the research about how much of the existing chain is already vulnerable.
It's staggering. ETH Zurich estimated over 60% of all existing blockchain transactions rely on cryptography that is vulnerable to Shor's algorithm.
60%.
That's unspent transaction outputs, everything. So with HNDL, funds could just vanish retroactively, or historical records could be manipulated. And this isn't just a crypto problem. Think about encrypted supply chain data, IoT records, anything meant to be permanent.
All right, we've laid out the threat pretty clearly. Let's talk about the defense. This isn't all doom and gloom. What are the counter moves?
The defense is already being built, and it's centered on global standards. The U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, finalized its first set of post-quantum cryptography algorithms in 2024.
PQC. And there are a couple of key names we should know.
2, really. Crystal's Kyber for key encapsulation, and Crystal's Dilithium for signatures.
So what are these? Are they just using bigger numbers, or is the actual math different?
The math is fundamentally different. They're mostly what we call lattice-based systems. They rely on solving problems in high-dimensional geometry, which is something that we believe is hard even for a powerful quantum computer. So these NIST algorithms are now the global benchmark.
But how do you implement that on a massive live blockchain without, breaking everything?
You do it carefully. The strategy everyone is adopting is called hybrid cryptography.
Meaning you use both at the same time.
Exactly. You pair the old ECC scheme with the new PQC scheme. So every transaction is signed and verified with both. It gives you backward compatibility, and it buys you time. If one algorithm ever gets broken, the other one is still there protecting the asset.
Like a double lock on the door.
Yeah.
But that hybrid approach, upgrading everything sounds like a monumental task.
It is a huge undertaking. PQC keys are up to 20 times larger than our current ECC keys.
20 times?
Yeah. So think about it. If your current key is a single line of text, the PQC key is like a whole paragraph. That forces you to rewrite everything. Block headers, smart contracts, network performance metrics. It's a massive architectural lift.
And it can't just be a software update?
Absolutely not. This has to go down to the silicon. You need a hardware root of trust. You're seeing companies like Infineon with their secure elements or Weibo systems with their platforms adapting to support these new hybrid keys right in the hardware.
Okay, let's pivot from security to the market itself. Quantum arbitrage. This sounds like something out of science fiction. How does SMED become non-classical?
Well, it's what happens when quantum computing meets AI. We call it quantum accelerated intelligence, or QAI. You can use quantum algorithms to massively speed up the kinds of simulations traders use for pricing risk.
So Monte Carlo simulations and things like that.
Exactly. A quantum-enabled trader could predict shifts in the order book almost in real time. They can run thousands of possible market scenarios at once. Classical machines just can't compete with that.
So you end up with a tiered market, a two-speed economy.
Precisely. You have the quantum-enabled players and then everyone else. It raises really big questions about market fairness and access.
While all this is being built, it looks like Europe is trying to regulate the market before the physics completely takes over. What's their head start?
They're trying to regulate the physics before the physics regulates us, which is smart. You've got these key regulations like DORA, the Cyber Resilience Act, or CRA, and the upcoming MiCA 2.0. All of them have these security by design rules that now explicitly include PQC readiness.
So for any crypto company operating in the EU, this isn't a future problem. It's a today problem.
It's a compliance requirement right now. The European Commission's own PQC roadmap says 2026 to 2030 is the critical window for hybrid deployment. ENISA, the EU cybersecurity agency, is recommending blockchain operators deploy this stuff by 2026.
So after all that, what's the big takeaway from this deep dive for you, the listener?
I'd say this. Quantum computing isn't going to kill crypto overnight, but it is the definitive end of our comfortable assumptions. The challenge is huge. It demands architectural rewrites, global cooperation, new hardware. Resilience, much more than just decentralization, is becoming the new currency.
And that brings us to our final thought, which comes right back to that HNDL threat. The post-quantum age won't just destroy data, it's going to re-age it. It's going to turn yesterday's secrets into tomorrow's open source material.
That's right. And Europe's strategic advantage here isn't just surviving this shift. It's about preserving sovereignty by demanding that the past is secured before the future has a chance to read it. And that, I think, is a lesson for how we have to build trust for the next generation of the internet.
You've been listening to the Quantum Space Podcast, Innovating Trust. Today, we've explored how the quantum era is quietly rewriting the rules of cryptocurrency security, from mining and wallets to the way entire markets define trust itself. If there's one takeaway, it's this: resilience is no longer a checkbox, it's a mindset. Quantum computing won't destroy blockchain overnight, but it will destroy complacency. And those who adapt early will define the next era of digital trust. To read the full Crypto Under Quantum Siege series, access white papers, or explore related discussions on post-quantum cryptography, visit thequantumspace.org. Stay curious, stay secure, and join us next time as we continue to explore the future of trust in the quantum age.
This episode of the Quantum Space Innovating Trust podcast is supported by MaskTech, the leading experts in embedded security and digital identity solutions. You'll find their team at Trust Tech 2025 from the 2nd to the 4th of December at Paris Expo Porte Versailles Pavilion 5.2, Booth E031. Quietly powerful, globally trusted. That's MaskTech. Learn more at masktech.com.
This was Innovating Trust, a Quantum Space podcast, edited and produced by Crown Communications.